concerning Trump's ties to Russia. Unknown to the public, that investigation had begun well before the election, meaning that Comey and the FBI were scrutinizing both parties' nominees for president at the same time, something without precedent in American history. It was a role Comey neither sought nor relished, later saying the possibility that he'd influence the outcome of the election made him nauseous. Unlike the highly public Clinton proceedings, the Trump-Russia affair was shrouded in the Bureau's traditional investigative secrecy. Although there was widespread reporting and discussion of Russian attempts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election, and it was common knowledge that Vladimir Putin had favored Trump over Clinton. It was only on January 10, 2017, that BuzzFeed News published a controversial dossier depicting scandalous ties between Trump and Russia, and it wasn't until March 20th, in an appearance before the House Intelligence Committee, that Comey had publicly confirmed the existence of a formal FBI investigation into possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. Even then, he declined to say whether Trump himself was one of the individuals the FBI was examining. Comey's refusal to clear him had infuriated Trump, because it left open the distinct possibility that he was a subject of the investigation. By the time of his trip to Los Angeles, it was no secret, least of all to Comey himself, that his relationship with Trump was tense at best. Many were surprised that Trump had kept him on as FBI director, even though his 10-year term had nearly 7 years remaining. Their personalities and characters were pretty much polar opposites. If Comey embodied rectitude, Trump would have to be described as louche, given his crude comments, propensity to exaggerate, indifference to factual accuracy, preening vanity, and friends and associates of dubious character. Comey found it hard to be in the same room with the man. That wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Comey didn't want to be Trump's friend, or part of any White House inner circle. While his relationship with President Barack Obama had been cordial, their personal interactions had been infrequent. There was much to be said for an FBI director keeping his distance from the president. The FBI director might have been a presidential appointee who reported to the Attorney General, but the position had a long tradition of independence, solidified by the lengthy 10-year term. As Comey began his speech in Los Angeles, he wasn't the least bit worried about his job. Only one FBI director had ever been fired, William Sessions, by Bill Clinton in 1993, early in his first term, and only after the Attorney General at the time, Janet Reno, asked for his resignation in the midst of a scandal involving the director's alleged misuse of government resources for personal purposes. Sessions, no relation to Jeff Sessions, Trump's first Attorney General, had hotly denied the charges and refused to resign, forcing Clinton to remove him. In his stead, Clinton named a former FBI agent of unimpeachable integrity, Louis Freeh, who within weeks of his appointment was investigating Bill and Hillary Clinton's role in the Whitewater affair, the first of a series of scandals that culminated with Monica Lewinsky and Paula Jones. Clinton would surely have liked to fire Freeh, and their relationship was tense, but he was too politically astute to do so. For similar reasons, the more Russian interference was in the news, the more secure Comey's job seemed, because for Trump to fire Comey would look like interference in an independent investigation, perhaps even obstruction of justice. Richard Nixon had famously found a way to rid himself of Special Prosecutor Archibald Cox, his nemesis in the Watergate affair, in the mistaken belief it would quell the investigation. Instead, it had raised the public's ire and cost him the presidency. Surely that lesson wasn't lost on Trump and his advisers. Comey was also getting along fine with the new Attorney General, the former Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions, who was Comey's immediate boss at the Department of Justice. Comey had seen Sessions just the day before leaving for his trip to Los Angeles, and the meeting was perfectly cordial. Comey was eager to talk about the new mission statement, which he'd personally labored over. It replaced a lengthy paragraph with numerous independent clauses with just 12 easily memorized words: to protect the American people and uphold the Constitution of the United States. In its brevity, it underscored that the FBI's mission was to protect the American people, not any one person.